In this series of lessons, we are going to learn the Egyptian language that used to be spoken in Egypt for thousands of years. When the Arabs came to Egypt, the language was then called the Coptic language, and it was used as the spoken language of Egypt until about the 11th century in northern Egypt, and up until the 17th century in South Egypt. Now the languages, the Coptic language in North Egypt and South Egypt were not exactly the same. There was a dialect in North Egypt called Buhairic dialect, and in South Egypt it was called Saidic dialect. The lessons that we are going to be dealing with in these lessons is the dialect of North Egypt, which is called the Buhairic Coptic. And it is the same dialect that is used in the liturgies of the Coptic Church. Before we start learning this language, I would like to explain the origin of the words Coptic and also the word Egyptian or Egypt. And one of the names of Egypt was in the old days E-Kapta, and E-Kapta consists of three words. E-Kapta. E means house or abode, Ka means spirit, and Ptah is one of the main gods of Memphis. So this name was used by the Egyptian inside Egypt. They used to call their land E-Kapta. When the Greeks occupied Egypt in the year 332 BC, they could not pronounce this word as the Egyptians used to pronounce it, and they pronounce it in a Greek accent. So they pronounce it Aegyptus. Aegyptus. They changed the K into G, and they added at the end of the word the OS, which is the Greek ending of the names. From this Aegyptus, this word then was known about Egypt outside Egypt. So inside Egypt, it is called E-Kapta. Outside Egypt, in the foreign countries, it used to be called Aegyptus. From Aegyptus in the outside world came the Latin name, which is almost identical to the Greek word, Aegyptus. And from this Latin, Aegyptus, came the word Egypt in most of the European languages. So Egypt then can be traced back to the old Egyptian E-Kapta. When the Arabs came to Egypt, they pronounced this Greek word in a short form. They took off the beginning of the word because they thought this is the Greek definite article, and they took off the OS at the end because it's known that the Greek names ends with OS, so they were left with Gipt. Gipt. So from Gipt we got the word Copt and Copt. And these were the names that the Arabs gave the indigenous Egyptians in order to distinguish them from the Arabs. Because when the Arabs came from outside Egypt, they found the indigenous population, and they called these people Copt or Kipt to distinguish them from themselves as Arabs. So the name then became Copt and Coptic in the English language, but this is derived from the Arabic Gibt, which is given by the Arabs to indicate the Egyptians. So the word then Copt and Coptic has nothing to do with religion. It indicates the indigenous population of Egypt or the Egyptians. So the word Copt and Egypt is one and the same thing, and they both came from the original old Egyptian name Eps1. And in summary then, the words Egypt and Coptic are both derived from the old Egyptian name Eps1. So when we say Coptic, this means we're saying Egyptian. Therefore, we will be studying this language that the Egyptians used to speak for thousands of years. I would like just to start one little thing before we take the break, and this is the word high in Coptic, and this is Nofri. Nofri means high. And the word Nofri consists of 2 syllables, and we are going to look at these syllables in details when we come back from the little break that we take. So now we're going to take a little break for a moment. We're back. Nofri, everybody. So the word Nofri is 2 syllables, Nof and Ri. Let's look at each one, each syllable alone. So the first syllable is Nof, which consists of 3 letters. The first letter is called Ni. It's like the English N, and it's written from down up like this, and then this line here. And the middle one is the O, and the O is like the English O, and it's pronounced like the English O. And the last letter is the Phi, which is the F, and this is derived from the Demotic Egyptian letters. So these 3 letters, Ni, O, Phi, the N, O, F, and they're pronounced Nof, Nof. The second syllable is Ri, and it consists of 2 letters. The letter Ro, and it's written line like this, and you do this part like this. And the last one is like the English I without a dot, and is written like this. And these 2, this letter, which looks like the I, is pronounced I. So the second syllable is Ri. So the first one is Nof, the second one is Ri. Together will be Nofri, Nofri, Nofri. Okay, now we'll go to the other side where we are going to say bye, bye, so long. And this word is Ugai. Ugai means bye or so long. And this is also 2 syllables. The first one is this O that we saw before, and another letter called epsilon is written this way. And this epsilon together with the O and epsilon together are pronounced U. So the O alone is O, but the O and the epsilon together is U. And the second syllable, the first letter is called Ganga or Jinja, and this is written this way, this here first, and then this one, and then the line at the bottom. And this letter is pronounced like the G, as in go in English, and sometimes it's like a J, But in this word, it is G, like go. The next one is alpha, which looks like the A in English, and it's always pronounced ah. It's written like this line here, and then this curve here, like this. The last letter is the iota, which we saw in the word nofri. So the second syllable then is pronounced gai, because this letter, which is like E normally, but when it comes after the alpha, it's pronounced like the English Y. So this syllable is gai, gai. So it is u gai, and u gai means by. Now we're going to study some words with the when we say my and then my something, and this something can be plural or singular masculine or singular feminine. For example, if I want to say my friends, so this will be the plural, and my in this case in Coptic is na, the ni that we saw before, and the alpha that also we saw before. So na means my for the plural. For the singular masculine, it is pa. This letter, it looks like the pi in mathematics. It's line, and then you take these two lines like this, and the alpha, and it's pronounced pa. This together is pa, and this is for the singular masculine. For the singular feminine, if I want to say my mother, my sister, it is ta. So the T, it's exactly like the English T. It's written this way, and then the alpha, so it is ta. So it is for a plural, na. For the masculine, it is pa. For the singular feminine, it is ta. And we are going to use na in a new word. We're going to say men rati. Men rati means beloved for plural. Two friends or more, or two people or more. And the first part is na, which my, and we use na because we are talking about more than two people. So we say na men rati. Men rati means beloved or dear. And they are written like this. There are 3 syllables in this word. The first one is the na, as we saw before, ni and alpha. And then the second one is main, which is the M, and the E, and the ni. So it is main. It's pronounced main. This letter that looks like English E is always pronounced A, main. And then the last part is rati. This is the rho that we saw before, and the alpha that we saw before. And this one is a new letter. It looks like the T and I on top of it, so it is T. So this na men rati, na men rati. By this, we're going to finish. And this part. By this, we're going to finish this part. And ugai na men rati till the next time.